Welcome back, guys. Today we are going to be mounting the rim on tire assembly, and here is the steps in mounting the rims onto the tire along with the beadlocks. Okay, so here is the painted rim. If you have not already seen my last video, you can check it out in the top right corner. That's where we painted the cross RC HC6. So here's the tire, guys, and here is the ring for the bead, and here is the hub to mount up the rim on the tire. So basically you put the insert inside the tire, put the locking beads like this onto the rim, then you insert the hub. This is where the hex will be going on to, and here you will have the 6 bolts, screws and bolts to assemble the wheel. This is just a rough idea as to how it would look inside the rim. Okay, guys, here is how it looks when it's inserted into the tire. I'll walk you guys through the steps as to how to get it mounted up. So let's get started. Another diagram that the kit included for you to assemble the wheels. Here you can see it says 1119 for these 2 screws and bolts, and here you have 11125. That's because the bolts here are longer than the bolts here. So in the starting you'll have these 2 bolts which will start clamping the beadlocks onto the tire securely until you get the rings close enough so that you can install the short screws. When you have completed the 4 short screws clamping the rim onto the tire, then you'll proceed to removing back out these 2 long screws and finishing it off with the same short screws as in step number 3. So step 1, insert the foam in the tire. Step 2, the rings along with the beadlock and the hub. Step 3, mount the 4 screws after you have mounted the 2 screws. And step 4, you remove the 2 long screws and you add in the 2 short screws. So here for reference you can see the rim is on the tire. However, if you look inside, the spacing between the rings are quite lengthy, so you'll have to thread in the 2 long screws first so that they can squeeze the plates together so you can get the shorter ones and the nuts on. So let's get this mounted. So here is the 2 screws I mentioned earlier. Here you can see the length of it. So I mounted them in the back of the hub. Here they are, and if you look inside you can actually see the other beadlock ring closer than before. So I'm now going to proceed to mount the 4 short studs to clamp the rings further in place. Then we'll remove the 2 long studs and finish it off with the remaining 2. Is the 4 bolts and studs mounted up. Here you can see the height or clearance of the studs. These are the studs that you'll have to do all around, but like I mentioned earlier, the longer ones are to feed it through. So now I'll be removing the 2 long studs and we'll be replacing it with the short studs so that we can finish the assembly. The reason for this is because the 4 short studs will help keep the rings in place so that when you remove the 2 long studs, you'll have the correct spacing so that you can feed back in the sharp studs to complete the assembly. Final assembly of the beadlock. So here you can see the hub mounted onto the rings. Check to make sure that your tire is properly seated onto the rim. So now we are going to be mounting it on to the chassis, and I'll show you the process of that. Here we will insert the hex pin into the axle, and we'll insert the hex onto the pin. Make sure that it's seated in the groove well. Fix that. Then on the rim assembly, you are going to pop off the cap on the rim, and you are going to seat the hub of the rim onto the hex. Then you're going to take the M4 lock nut using your wrench, and you're going to tighten it up into the rim. Make sure it's not too tight. Then you're going to take the center cap. You can see that there's a lip towards the corner. You're going to seat it in with a groove on the rim, and you're going to pop the cap back on. You can twist it around so you can get the slot, and there it is. So now let's get the rest completed. The end of this part of the build series. If you have any comments or questions, leave it down below. If you'd like to see this build complete and future build videos, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.